Hello, hello.
Hi.
You all ready?
I'm all ready. Yes. So
All
excited.
right. Cool. We should be getting started in a few moments.
Cool, cool.
Let me know if you have any questions.
Absolutely.
I was trying to find something that I could drop in here. Where is it? I go from, oh, I have all the time in the world to I'm rushing.
Oh, me too.
I'm glad I'm not alone. Come on. All right, going live.
Cool.
What's up, everyone? It's KB, and I love movies. As you can see over here to my right, I have the lovely, nerdy film girl. How's it going tonight?
It's going really well. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
You're welcome. I was watching your stream last night that you and Max had, and I'm like, she's honored. Why is she honored? It's just little old me. It's just KB.
Oh, everyone loves you so much, and it really is just so special. So, what you've created is so special.
I appreciate it. All I'm doing is spreading the love and making sure that other people love movies, love the arts, respect each other's opinions. What I like, you don't like. So, you know, it's okay. It's art. At the end of the day, we're talking about art. Just like if we were looking at a painting and someone says, I don't like that. You don't have to. Don't yuck my yum. What I like, you don't like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
So, you know how we do this, but we're going to start with a non-movie question. Then we'll talk movies.
Yeah.
I remind you that it is a conversation, so feel free to go back and forth. You feel like going on a tangent, we'll go on a tangent, and then we'll end the way we always do with the 5 takes. So,
Perfect.
sounds good?
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's see who's joining us in the chat because they're equally important part
Yes.
of this. So we got Nick from Movie AV Impulse. Hope you have a great conversation. Checking out the replay. Yeah, he gets up early. He's a trucker, so
Whew,
yeah,
that's rough.
um, yeah, we appreciate him and all
Yes.
the truckers out there, not just the Amazon people, but everybody getting our food, getting our supplies, getting our
Oh, yeah.
services to us.
Big
Much
time.
love. We got Mr. Adrian James saying hello to the two of us. What's going on? We got Ed and Haley saying they missed your Everything You Watch stream. Checked out the replay. Love your banter with Max. That is the best part of it, I have to
Oh,
admit.
good, good. Thank you.
And when the cat was sitting on his shoulder.
My God. I've not, yeah. Look who's cat. Oh, it's the other cat though. It's a different cat this time. They just know we're
Mm-hmm.
doing like live streams. They're like, we have to be in the present in the camera.
They're a part of the family. They gotta get in on the attention.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us. Uh, we can't see it, but I have my wife checking in saying, "Are you on a live?" Yes, I am. She just walked in the door. So
Oh,
hello to you if you're checking out the replay, Mrs. KB.
oh.
We got Lance joining us saying hello to us and a question right up front. What's your favorite DreamWorks? He said his is Shrek 2 and Kung Fu Panda and Shark Tale and B-Movie and Flush Away. So that's a lot, but you could just give us one.
Yeah. I'll go with Shrek. The
Okay.
Shrek franchise, I think, is really good.
Yeah. And I heard they just greenlit a new one. So, and they
Mm-hmm.
got all the original people on board. So, Lance, I see you have another question. So, I'm just going to star that and come back to it. He follows up with saying he loves the channel. Thank you. And subscribe. Appreciate that. And he reminds everyone to go ahead and smash that like button. And he brings up an interesting point. I know a lot of people tune in every week. Some people have the notifications on but not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And
Mm-hmm.
if you like what you're seeing, don't wait until the end to go ahead and hit that like button. Do it up front. You could always uncheck it if you see or hear something you don't like. So
Yeah.
that's what I do. Like as soon as I tuned into your live stream, I went ahead and I liked it. I said, If they say something to piss me off, I'll I'll
Oh.
uncheck it. But of course, that never happens. Who else we have on the check-in here? We have Michael. Hello. We got Sean joining us. We got Tony from Basement Blues. Hello, sir. We got my man Jodo. Hello, dear. Go ahead. You can walk around. Hey, sis. Come here. You get a hug. You're going to be on camera for a sec.
I love you. I miss you.
I love you too. All right. So we're in the media room, live from the media room. So it's still getting it checked up, you know. Yeah, back here, that little alcove, that's going to be like shelves, and then movies are going to be here and here. So
Love that. Yeah.
it's getting there. We're setting it up. Takes
Cool.
time. Talking about somebody with lovely shelves, we got Tim Talks Talkies on the check-in, waving hi. We got View with a Drew saying, "What's up? What's up to you, sir?" Your friend and mine, Luke Ponto. What's going
Yes.
on, sir? Thanks for joining us tonight. Got to get you on here too, Luke. I gave him some props over the weekend. Him, Jared, 4K King. Appreciate you guys. The young cats doing it. I love to see it. So got to get you guys on soon. I got Raj already, so Jared and Luke, you're coming up soon. We got Johnny watching, joining us. We got Mizzy on the check-in. Hey, hey. We got the Huckster in the house. Hey, lovely people. What's going on? Movies with Ryan. I watched his video earlier with all of his local hauls. Sorry, Monkey, I missed your intro. Monkey always hits us with nice intros for the guests, so I'm going to throw it up anyway. To the
Oh.
well-dressed woman with grace of Barbara Walters and the presence of Meredith Vieira. You will go far in this community as an instant sensation. That part is very true. Now, please, down for a conversation. Yeah,
Oh, that's so
I
sweet of
agree
you.
there.
Yeah.
Instant
Thank you.
sensation. You know what it is for me, and just a little interrupt in the chat. See, I'll catch up with you. I like that from the very jump, whether it was a chat or catching one of your videos, the love is apparent. The love for movies is apparent in both what you and Max say. You check your Instagrams, he's sharing things with you, sharing movies, recommending stuff. You guys know what's going on in the scene in New York, what's opening early. You know, that's a movie lover, and I could appreciate that. So,
Thank you.
instant sensation for sure.
Thank you.
Instant sensation for sure. We love it. We got Mama Blu-ray in the house. It is going to be a great night. Yes, after we're done here, please go and check out Mama Blu-ray's daughter, Sue from Movies and Sue. She's doing her weekly Q&A at the top of the next hour, so 8 p.m. Eastern. And then at 9:15, head over to Bob's Blu-rays, and he's going to be inducting Ken from Mid-Level Media into his Hall of Fame. That's always a good time, hanging out and checking out everything that he has prepared for, in this case, Ken. So got a fun night of streams going on.
It's like we have our own network.
Yeah, I
Tune
love
in for this
love
and
it.
our local programming. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know there's other streams going on tonight. Shout out to them, but you know, I'm glad you're here with us. I appreciate it. I know Tracy does as well. We got Laren on the check-in saying good to see us both. Good to see you, sir. Glad we were able to catch up via email. So Bobby Blue, excited for this conversation. Tracy is great. That's why I'm happy to have her on. We got Cody in the house saying what's up.
Whoop, whoop.
Cody's going to be with us on Friday night. I can't even tell you it's going to be a regular conversation, because if you know the dude who loves movies, there's nothing regular about him. So come hang out. We might even, get flagged for music, because we got major love for 90s R&B, and something's going to pop off. So should be fun. Should be fun. Michael wants to know, what makes you a nerdy film girl instead of just a regular film girl?
I actually, the name came from like 15 years ago. I started like a movie review vlog that like no one saw, and I reviewed movies like that, like written, and then I made it the name of my Instagram. And I would say, I don't know. I don't think like the term nerdy has like the connotation it used to, like a
True.
long time ago. And I definitely just like to nerd out on stuff, and I like, so I think that's just where it came from.
I like that. And you know your stuff, so that could be a part of it too. Luke's going to see Super Mario Brothers. I saw it on Monday. Um, I'd give it, just in case you don't read my letterbox or written review, I said I'd give it like 3.5 stars. It was cute. It was so
Hmm.
cute. I heard
Yeah.
you guys talking about it last night. Um, it, but the cuteness doesn't like add character development to it. I mean, we are talking about Mario. No, regardless of what game you play, there was never any character development. I
Right.
think Brando critic even said it's not God of War, so
Right.
you're not
Yeah.
going to get character growth. It's Mario, so you take it with a grain of salt, but it was cute. The animation was excellent, though. I would say whatever Illumination's been doing in the past, they upped their game for this one.
Stunning.
So definitely. Who else joining us? Everybody saying hi to hi to hi. Don't forget to roundhouse kick that like button. I was looking for that. We got Caprice on the check-in saying, hey, hey. We got Brother Dell. He had another great movie swap last night. Caught up with the rest of that today. Uh, Johnny again. Mizzy saying hi. We got Tony P saying hello to us. What's going on? Everybody saying what's up to each other. We got Magic Hands in the house. What's going on with you, sir? Uh, yeah, Tony was watching too. He said he enjoyed watching the banter as well. Very nice. Um, yeah, it is all about the banter because it's conversational. It's almost like we're flies on the wall with you guys in your place just talking movies. So that was great.
Cool.
I do
Yeah.
have a question. What was he
Okay.
drinking?
He was drinking like a hard iced tea.
Okay. I was
He and I
like,
have very like different tastes in our alcoholic beverages, but
hmm
it was fun. He liked it.
with that in mind, what are you drinking tonight, ma'am?
Oh yes, I'm drinking a Pinot Noir.
Hmm.
And actually, the reason I picked it up today too was I used to one of the places I used to work used to have the La Crema Monterey Pinot Noir, but I couldn't find it ever in wine stores. I could only
Hmm.
find the one from Sonoma, and I don't really like the Sonoma one. Not saying I don't like Sonoma wines, but I just didn't really like the La Crema Sonoma as much as this one. And I saw it today, just like my wine store all of a sudden had it, and I was like, "Well, this is a special occasion, and I'm going to pick this up." And I got
Uh,
$3 off because I like you get discounts if you're part of like a member of your wine store. That was one of the things like moving to New York too that I was like, oh, everyone gets discounts on like wine if they become. I was like, they should do that everywhere. So
yeah, it's true. Everybody is about to hook up in New York City. I could tell you that.
yeah.
Um, personally, I have a California red blend called Three Finger Jack. The great thing about this is, for one, it's about 5 years old, so hello.
Yeah.
Two, it is aged in rum barrels, so gives a nice little taste. So
Yeah, when yeah,
cheers.
I tried one that was aged in rum barrels recently and I loved it. So
Hmm.
great, yeah, great choice. I want to explore more of those.
Yeah, especially the ones that have like a strong cherry taste. They seem to like really accent well in those. So
Very
yeah,
nice.
glad I was able to get my hands on those. We got a couple more people on the check-in. Don't want to miss anybody. Of course. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. Going back up because I came down. I skipped a few people. So I'll just pick up from here. 100 saying hello. Hope we're doing well. Hello to you. So name a song soundtrack you absolutely love. So one with songs, not a score. So a movie soundtrack. So his would be Purple Rain. That would also be mine. But
That's really
how about
good.
you?
Um, I would say Almost Famous is one.
Good one.
Yeah, and also I think this was just the era of like when I was in that in between high school and college years. But
Hmm.
the soundtrack to Garden State was like everything. It was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh my
so like,
gosh,
you know.
that was popping off everywhere.
Yeah.
That was like the little indie movie that could,
Yeah.
but one of those situations where the soundtrack was better. Like I remember like early 90s, like late 80s, early 90s, like when you had all of those independent black films like the Hudlin Brothers and all that stuff. And it was really sad because the soundtracks would be great and then the movie would be so-so. So I'm thinking things like More Money and well, New Jersey Drive is okay, but there was just a whole bunch of them where it was either the soundtrack was great, but the movie wasn't, or the movie was just a little bit slightly less better than the soundtrack was than the
Yeah.
movie. So,
At least you're like, well, the creator definitely has good taste in music, at least.
hmm New Jack
Yeah.
City, that was another great soundtrack.
Yep.
Yeah, listen to Mama. She said, "Be sure that you're subbed."
Yes. Everyone.
I We got Walter Jones in joining us. Thank you everyone for the check-in. I really appreciate you all being here tonight. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. My kids are coming home this weekend for Easter, so hopefully they're coming with helping hands. So we'll just leave it at that. Everyone's saying hello. If I missed you, I apologize. I saw you up there, Vin. I just didn't see when you popped in. I saw everybody saying hello to you. I want to get into these questions, so keep talking to each other, and yeah, we'll continue. Who's this guy? Seeing the wonderful Tracy on the channel is very cool. She's a walking encyclopedia. I think
Oh,
she
no.
knows you. I think she knows
Yes.
you.
He's more of the encyclopedia. He'll
I was
jog my
about to
memory when
say,
I'm blanking out.
yeah.
So,
Um, Thanks for joining us, Max. Get on up 42 my biopics. What about yours? There's
yeah,
so many.
those were two. I recommended those recently because I thought Chadwick Boseman was so phenomenal in both of those movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked Rocket Man actually. That's like a recent one. If I'm thinking, you know, I liked the Chaplin movie also that Robert Downey Jr. did. The movie wasn't like phenomenal, but his performance is great. I feel like
Yeah.
sometimes that happens with biopics where the performance is better than the film.
Yeah.
You know, so
Very true. Well, I appreciate all the back and forth in the chat, but I only have this lady for a certain amount of time, so I want
yes.
to get into some questions. So we'll start with the non-movie one. Actually, I might start with one or two or three. Um, some of them might be quick, so let's see. Do you have a connection to Pittsburgh, and what is it if you do?
That's Max. Max went to the University of Pittsburgh, and then I got a master's at Chatham, I believe. So he just stayed in Pittsburgh
Hmm.
for a very long time until he moved when we started dating. So,
Cool.
yep.
Ooh, better question. How did you get into jazz music? I know we share that love.
Yeah, that's definitely my parents. So my house was always filled with jazz. My mom used to do she used to sing jazz at toured with jazz bands and did some Broadway. And then I'm adopted, but my adopted dad, he was a composer, did a
Mm,
lot for like news networks and some film stuff, and he also played saxophone and a bunch of other instruments. So kind of just grew
yeah,
up with it around the house.
yeah, it was around you. It was
Mhm.
around you. So now that you know I am not in New York City,
Yes,
despite the hat,
I
always a New
know.
York representer, we would have met, the three of us would have hooked up and met somewhere if that was the case, for sure, by now. But what brought you to New York and how long you been there now?
So I was originally born here, and then my parents moved like to central New Jersey, which is really
Hmm.
not that far. So it's like a 45-minute train ride. And then I was always in and out constantly. And then it was always my passion just to move back as an adult. And so I've loved it. It fits so well for me. And I've never been happier. So,
Yeah, I born and raised, and when it was time to move, we moved first to Jersey, Central Jersey, for a matter of fact. So
okay.
we were in the Manalapan, Englishtown, Freehold area.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then we decided to move again and ended up in Kansas City. I have to say the Midwest is a nice place to raise a family. A lot different than New York City because I'm sure you've had situations where it's like 10:30 at night and you're like, I feel like Ethiopian. And you could just go out and get Ethiopian at 10:30 at night. You
100%.
you
Yeah.
can't do that here. You have to plan ahead to get some Ethiopian food or whatever the case may be. So a little bit different, a little bit different. But I mean, it's almost 20 years now, so I'm kind of used to it. We have a very inquisitive chat. Some of these questions I will not ask because none of your business. Let's see. What is your movie review site, if you have one?
Oh, I don't have it anymore. I
Mm.
I start. It was something like 15 years ago I started, and then I discarded it. But I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Um, do you have a favorite beer?
Mm, yeah. So I love sours, and you and I talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
I like sours, and then if it's the winter time, I like stouts a lot, like a Guinness or something like
Yeah,
that, or a porter.
yeah,
But summertime,
uh,
or even like a Corona in the summertime.
yeah. Something light,
Yeah.
not gonna weigh you down. Same thing. Coffee, chocolate stouts in the winter, oatmeal stouts,
Mm,
Mother's double. Um, had a good one the other day at a local brewery, but it was a nice day, and I'm like, I want something heavy. Go figure. What's a movie you hear is so horrible that you'll never watch? I hear Legend of Hercules and I, Frankenstein are horrible.
I feel like that happens often.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be honest, the last Halloween movie I heard was just horrendous. So, I mean, I heard there are
Halloween
some people
Ends.
that like it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll give that a shot. I think I was not open-minded to it until I started hearing more people give positive spins. So,
Funny enough, all these years I've heard that the two Rob Zombie Halloweens are terrible, so I never saw it. And
mm,
I think I just watched it this past year, and I was like, yeah, I can see what people are talking about, but at least I gave it a chance.
totally.
Um, with Halloween Ends, I just wanted to see it because if this is truly the end, which fooled me twice, but I still want to see it, and it was disappointing until somebody told me watch it again, but watch it like if you were reading a book, and when you see it, you'll understand that perspective. And I was like, oh, yeah, it makes more sense that way. I could see it that way, but still not a great movie. So.
Yeah.
Have you met any celebrities while you're in New York?
I was working at a restaurant that is Celebrity Central. I would say I don't work there anymore just because values didn't align with the place. But the cast of Succession, quite a few of them, I
Mm.
served them. Henry Winkler. And actually, I found out, and I think I can say this because no one knows my address, but I just found out that Michael Rappaport lives next door. So I knew he lived in my
And
neighborhood.
you never heard him?
No, that's good. I like that.
He was
Yes.
pretty vocal the other day,
Oh, with
trying to
Marjorie
get
Taylor
Marjorie out
Greene.
of
Oh my
town.
God. He cracked me up with that.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't, and I knew he lived in the neighborhood, and then he had posted a photo out of his window, and I was like, wait a second, that's the dry cleaning and the
Yeah,
like hair barber shop
yeah.
right across the street from my place. I was like, oh, that is exactly
A
there. So
little stalkerish.
I know. Well, it was just so hard to ignore. I was like, that's my street.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, Walter, I did miss your question. What is your favorite film genre and why? This is for you.
um, I really like anything like psychologically stimulating, so psychological thrillers, stuff that kind of you know you can't even fathom writing a screenplay that good. I love stuff like that. I also love sometimes I'm in the mood to watch something that's really depressing and really like makes you feel a lot. But then I'm not like that all the time. I also like comedies, but I would say my favorite is psychological thrillers, sci-fi psychological stuff. Really like a lot.
Yeah. I'm more of a sci-fi fantasy guy. It's
Cool.
probably the genre that I grew up on the most. So whether it was like the B movies from the 50s or, I grew up in the age of Star Wars, so and just everything after that, all the great sci-fi movies of the 80s and 90s and so forth. So that's definitely me. Tim
Very
wants
cool.
to visit NYC. Hey, it's a few hours drive. You should do it. Yeah,
Yeah, he's
find a
in
reason to.
Philly. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's in he's near Scranton. Like
Okay,
he could walk to the exterior shots of the office.
that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, definitely you should do that, man. Find a reason to go in, like go see a show or something.
Yes.
What up, Jerry? Ooh, this sounds good. Duchess de Bourgogne.
Hmm.
Great sour beer. You gotta put me on that, Larry.
Cool.
We got Andrew in the house. Hope you're having a great evening and a great conversation. Yes, thank you. And on Friday afternoon, 1:30 or so, Andrew and I will be recording a little podcast. So I'm looking forward to that because I have no idea what's in store, and sometimes that's the best way to do it.
So fun.
Um, so I watched your top 25 of the 90s thing talking about Tim, and you sent that in for his community challenge. Tell people about the greatness of Jetsons, the movie.
You've seen it?
Yes, I've seen it.
Oh my God. Yes, I love that you've seen it. I didn't know if anyone knew what I was talking about. Yeah, it's so 80s music. Tiffany wrote most of the songs. And
Hmm.
again, it looks like an MTV 80s music video for most of the time. And it has a really good story. It's kind of like an environmentally conscious story. Even though it takes place in space. Yeah, I thought it was super fun, and I really think they should do more Jetsons stuff moving forward. I think it's the perfect time. We're living in the new space age anyway.
Yeah,
So
and they need to revise a few things. And now you have people who are actual futurists that could help you, on the script and everything like that. I'd love to see like a Pixar or something do that because they actually do like their research when they're
mm,
putting something together. So that'd be cool. I know I hit 30 and I got upset at Jetsons, the old animated TV show, because I'm like, where's my flying car? By 30, I should have had my flying car.
yes,
Forget about Rosie and all that. I want my flying car. So
yes, yes. We got FaceTime, but we
yeah,
didn't get the flying
yeah.
cars yet, which we should.
Funny enough, a better thing. Yes, I love sci-fi too, Adrian. A better, a better indicator of what was to come was Minority Report. I don't know if you know this, but when that movie came out, we didn't have Bluetooth headphones or, you know, Bluetooth mics or anything.
Mm,
Within 2.5 years, we had them after that movie came out.
wow.
And there's still things that were in that movie that we don't have, but there's a couple of key things that we do. Like no one was able to pick up a headset and put it in their ear and have a conversation at that time. That movie came out in less than 3 years. We did. Sick,
Wow.
sick. When you look back at things, it's sick.
That reminds me of
Uh,
like the stuff you see on the show Black Mirror. All the
yeah, I
technology on
love that
there, they were ahead
show.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of a cautious tale a lot of times, but good stuff. Good stuff. Can you recommend an overlooked psychological thriller? You guys are doing
Mm.
my work tonight. I'm glad I didn't have too many questions. Go ahead.
I was just telling Max earlier that I'm so bad with questions on the spot because then like once the chat's over, I'll be in my apartment and be like, oh my God,
It'll
why didn't I think of
stay
this?
with you and you'll think about it.
Yes, I was telling him I love that you ask the questions like weeks in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Because it sounds like I've never seen a movie in my life when I hear a question on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
But psychological thriller, Ex Machina, I'll throw that out. I love that one.
Good one.
I don't even know
Good
if,
one.
yeah, I guess that's psychological thriller,
Yeah.
more sci-fi,
Sci-fi.
but yeah.
Yeah. Psych thriller.
Mm.
Yeah, for sure. There's so many ways you could look at that, and especially what's revealed at the end about what Oscar Isaac's character was doing with Domhnall Gleeson's character, and you stop and you think, what if somebody tried to build a robot or put a mind together based on what they know about me? That would be, uh, let's just say that would be interesting.
Man, I know.
Tidbit Kid in the house wants to know your most watched film. In other words, a guilty pleasure of yours. No, maybe not. May just be your favorite film. What's your most watched film?
Mm, that's so tough.
Mm,
I will say the movie that I saw the most in theaters, and it was just because had gotten a lot of my friends at the time in college like really excited about it because of the trailer. So everyone wanted to go with me, and it was like totally different groups of people, and that was Across the Universe. So
so
the
good.
trailer was just like, oh my god. So then I would show everyone the trailer, like, oh, well, we have to go see it. I'm like, I already saw it like 4 times, so I saw it like 7 or 8 times in theaters. But
Oh man. Uh, I know. I'm trying to think. It's for me. It's going to be something like a duh kind of thing, like Empire. Empire Strikes Back. Not
yeah,
only is it one of my favorite movies, it's one that I've been watching since I'm 10 years old. I am far from being 10 years old, so
oh,
I've been watching it for, upwards of 40 plus years. So I think I've seen that movie the most because it's something I could just throw in. I know everything to it. There's action, there's sci-fi, there's romance, there's lack of a denouement, which I absolutely love. It was the first time I ever seen a movie that didn't have like poetic justice at the end. And my little 10-year-old brain didn't know what to do with that. I was like, wait a minute, the good guys didn't win. Why? They always win. Not always, kid. Not always. And it just blew my mind. It really did. What else we have here? To let you know we're not alone. Cody says he loves him some Jetsons movie.
yeah,
Look at
that's
that.
great.
Kino has a Jetson Blu-ray release. I
What?
didn't know that. I did not know that. Write it down because you'll forget. I already did.
During your celebration on Saturday,
Hmm.
you had mentioned that Cody is so wonderful for this community and necessary, and he adds so much. It's for stuff like this.
Example. Example.
Yeah,
Great example. Can't believe I bought that single from Tiffany for the Jetsons movie. Johnny as well. There you
it's
go.
good.
You are not
Yep.
alone. That is the one thing I have to say about this community. Every time you think, well, I'm the only one that feels that way about that movie, or I'm the only one who's watched that movie. You're not. You're not. Movie that most 90s movies I've seen recently again is Coneheads. So many who's who of comedy. Yeah, those early SNL movies, they basically just took the cast, the current cast of the past, anyone who was associated with NBC and SNL, and they made some great movies because they're all great comedians. So definitely helped. Let's see. I have one for you. So, what's a film that you would use to describe your life, current or past?
Like the title or like the plot?
Or a movie that you associate with? You tell me. Take it any way you like.
Um. Okay, and I don't. This is probably a lot of people are probably gonna get mad about this, but because a lot of men hate this movie, but for a very long time, I really related to 500 Days of Summer because I
Mm,
found that I had a few long-term relationships and then decided to be single for a very long time after that, and I kind of looked at things in a very like keep it casual until your heart just feels like that's the one. And then so I was always open and honest with people, but I kind of felt like, well, this isn't going to go anywhere, just letting you know that. And like it I never meant to like hurt anyone, but like people obviously didn't um like hearing those things. And then I found
Right.
Max, and reconnected with Max, and we're very happy. And I made the right choice, and I'm glad I waited. And that's kind of what she says to Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character. Like, it's, you're the one that opened my eyes to finding real love. And, I just think it's a very honest portrayal of a single woman in um, a casual, even though like maybe they are together type of thing. Like, that just, it happens. She should have been way more upfront, but I think
Up
she
front.
kind of was
Yeah.
the most of the movie. And then he's the one that's like, well, are we in a relationship or we're not? And he kind of like forces her to be like, oh, okay, I guess we're gonna be in a relationship. So I don't know. I
Yeah.
kind of did relate to that for a very long time.
Yeah, I could see that. And by the way, I love that movie. Um, just the performances are great, and it's honest. It's an honest movie. I know guys who you show them a little more than a little bit of interest, and all of a sudden we going together. And it's like that goes from just casual dating to planning marriage, and
Yeah.
it's all taking place right here. Nothing is ever discussed. There's no conversations. There's no mutual plans. But the way people can take, and this is men and women alike, can take he's the one, she's the one, they're the one, and take it to the utmost without knowing if that feeling is mutual is amazing. I tell my kids now, they're in their 20s, and I'm like, communication, if it's not both ways, it ain't happening. You don't need to be in anything like that long term. And if you can't talk about everything, you shouldn't be talking about anything. And it's true. I mean, that movie is a great example of that. So good choice there. Good choice. We got a couple more people on the check-in. We got Grace joining us saying hello. Hello to you, Grace. An overlooked psychological thriller is Dolores Claiborne. Yes, very true. Very true. What's her name? Kathy Bates was excellent in that. We got Fish joining us. Hey there. I think The Babadook would be considered a psych thriller. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of people take it as just straight horror. Maybe it's not a comedy, so it's a horror, to quote Max. But um,
Yeah.
I think it is a psych thriller because it's what some mothers go through. There's loss and there's grief, and in the midst of it, you got to deal with a constantly screaming child. So crazy. But
KB, while you're going through the comments, I'm just gonna open my window. It's getting really hot in my apartment, so
yeah,
I'll be
yeah,
right
go
back.
for it. Across the Universe, I also saw in theaters. My one and only year of musicals, that and Sweeney Todd. Those are some good ones, man. I would almost challenge you to get into some other musicals like that because I mean that's a good place to start. But it's good to explore the genre even further. I saw Lethal Weapon 3 in theaters, I think 15 times in 1 month. I saw The Untouchables 7 times, and that was a lot for me, especially as a teenager who probably had better things to do. Gus! We got Gus in the house joining us, saying hello to Gus. Who else? Who else? Anybody else? Everybody saying hello to Gus. We got some love for 500 Days of Summer, or maybe those are tears. I don't know.
Yeah.
It could be one or the other. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I'm going to go back to the beginning where Lance had a second question. He said, "What movie scared you to the part where Fat Albert comes out the TV? I got scared, just realized it was Keenan in a fat suit." So, what movie scares you?
The Ring was really scary when I saw it, and it still scares me, and I still envision Samara coming out of the well, and yeah,
Mm,
horrified. I love The
yeah.
Ring, but it is to me, I think I get scared more from visuals than anything, and I can't get it out of my head. And then at like 4 in the morning, I'll wake up and be like, "Oh my God, Samara's in my kitchen."
hmm You ever
So
seen the Japanese one?
no, I need to. I think
Ooh,
I just need to like get brave to do that.
yeah, much scarier, I
Oh
think.
no.
Tim says, I miss seeing more of Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He was like the next big thing, and he went deep into his hit record side deal. Yeah, he is a good actor.
Yeah, and he has like babies and a wife, and I think he's taking
Yeah,
some time.
yeah. Talking about 500 days, I've known guys who had girls smile at them and they thought they were dating. Yeah, it's sad but true. It's really sad,
Oh,
but I know women and girls like that too, so
that's true.
goes
I
both
do know
ways.
that. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite sitcom?
Yes. It's uh, okay, we'll just do older sitcoms.
That's fine.
It's tied between Seinfeld and Frasier. So I know they're very
Mm,
different, but I've just been on a Frasier binge recently, and I used to watch it as a kid, and as an adult,
me
I
too.
just think the writing is just so funny and it's so quick and witty and fast, and I'm like
So
laughing all the
good.
time. So I love David
It's
Hyde
funny.
Pierce.
My daughter, third KB, she's addicted to Seinfeld. So sometimes she's coming out her room and going to the bathroom, and I hear the laugh track from Seinfeld, or I hear one of their voices saying something. I'm like, "You're going to the bathroom. Put George down for a few minutes." You know. Um, they also love Friends, so I've seen Friends more in repeat with them than actual. But for me, I always look at the ones that I could fall asleep to. So when I was younger in college, I never had like cable when I was a kid. So when I got to college and I had cable, I watched a little bit too much. So the Patty Duke show used to come on Nick at Night. I would watch that over and over. Don't know
Yeah.
why. Golden Girls, literally, we fall asleep to Golden Girls and Frasier. Frasier's
Yeah.
another one. Fall asleep to it.
Nick at Night
Um,
is great because it really kids are drawn to Nick at Night for some reason too, and
hmm
it's just showing them. Except I had like a heart attack like 10 years ago when I saw that the Fresh Prince of Bel Air was on Nick at Night, and I was like, oh my god, how old am I?
Oh my God, I'm old. Yeah. When your childhood shows start showing up like on repeat channels like that, or even worse, when songs that you grew up with start showing up in commercials.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
no, so bad, so bad. You guys are having a good time in the chat. People are listening to your favorite sitcoms. I see Dell likes the Boondocks. The Honeymoon is that's a flashback. Cheers. Everybody hates Chris. It's still so funny to see the kid from Everybody Hates Chris on Abbott Elementary now, and he's a grown
Yeah.
man and he's kissing women and whatnot. I'm like, stop that, Chris. Oh man, Big Bang. Everybody loves Raymond. Good stuff. Good stuff. Um, so this is a couple question because as many of you know, I love my movie couples, and I consider the two of you one of my favorite new movie couples.
Oh.
So, with that in mind, what does Max think about your movie obsession?
Oh, he loves it because he's just as obsessed. He got
Mm-hmm.
a degree in film, like cinema studies type of thing, like film theory. And yeah, he's just we've known each other actually since 2007, but only reconnected during the pandemic, and that's when we started dating actually. And it was long
That's cool.
distance. Yeah, and I think it's
That's
just because we
cool.
saw each other's stuff online too. You know, we started having conversations and yeah,
Is he
he loves it.
nearby? Is he
But
nearby? Is he nearby?
yeah, actually.
Because based on his pandemic movie recommendations that he made to you, and being a fellow film student, I wanted to bring him in for a little while. So if you
Yeah.
could ask him to come in, I
Yeah,
will
yeah.
definitely come
Yes.
in here, Max.
Yes, 1
Please.
second.
While we're doing that, let's see. Yeah, we got a couple other people. Seinfeld is a good one. Um, Dell, love the Honeymooners. Yeah, that's another one of those VHS and early DVDs I used to watch on repeat with the Lost Episodes disc. I used to watch it all the time. Mama Blu-ray grew up with Mr. Ed and My Favorite Martian. Good stuff. Good stuff. Um, Perfect Strangers, Balky. Yes. TGI Fridays. You got it, Fish. Good stuff. And I used to hate that all they used to advertise on TGI Fridays was Family Matters. Just because Urkel was such a big deal, they would only talk about him. What's going on, sir?
What up? What up?
Thank you for
Glad to
joining
see ya.
us.
Thanks for having me on.
Oh yeah, man. When I got Tracy on, I was like, I wonder if Max is going to join us. So
So honored as well.
appreciate you being here, man.
Yeah,
It's pretty wicked.
I showed him your whole Saturday live stream because I wanted to share that with him and show him the whole community. So
Yeah, man. And now you're both a part of that, so we welcome you in.
Yeah, it's such a cool community. I can't believe it. Lots of
Yeah.
camaraderie.
Yeah,
can dig
and the whole thing is, it's a diverse amount of people, and for the most part,
Exactly.
everyone's pretty cool. So you gotta
Yeah.
love that.
I love the
So-
show vibe.
Tracy, are you ready to do the 5 takes?
yeah.
And Max, if you want to, you could chime in with yours
Heck
if you
yeah.
have them off the top. All right.
What are they?
You'll see. It's gonna
Yeah,
pop
you'll
up on the
see.
screen.
Cool.
All right. So number 1, name the film. Tracy first. Name the film that made you fall in love with the movies.
So I feel like I've talked about this to death, but it was always American Beauty, seeing it as far as artisticness instead of entertainment. But I had an epiphany the other day. I couldn't understand why every time the new Little Mermaid trailer comes on, I start like tearing up and getting really emotional. And then it dawned on me, like I've told people in the past, like the Little Mermaid was the first memory I have of seeing anything on the screen, like in glimpses and flashes. And so I texted my mom the other day and I was like, did you take me to the Little Mermaid? And we were going through the dates. I was born in 87 and I was like 2.5. And she's like, oh yeah, I definitely probably took you to that like multiple times. So I was like, okay. So like now I can understand why I'm just tearing up. I've seen this trailer like a billion times at this point. And I don't know why I start like getting so teary eyed every time. And I'm like, yeah. So I'm going to see that. I'm probably going to be a mess when I see that in theaters, but I think it's like a subconscious reaction to that. Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh man. Do you have one, Max? Do you have a memory that you can remember? Like what made you decide to go to film school? Usually it's a catalyst or film or jumping off point.
Yeah. Films like, well, you mentioned what made me fall in love. I think it was renting on VHS 2001 A Space Odyssey. I'm like in love with science fiction so much.
Me too.
Just knowing that I found out that they did it back then, 2 years before we went to the moon. And that blew my mind. I'm like, you know, talking to Arthur C. Clarke and knowing some sci-fi writers, it just blew my mind how you can just make something like that on screen with that, primitive technology. I'm really into tech. Yeah. Kubrick is the man.
I hear that. Number 2, back to Tracy. Name 5 of your favorite films.
Yes. Okay. So they're all kind of from different genres for different reasons. And the number 1, well, and they're not ranked either. So
That's
we're not supposed to rank them. Well, maybe we are, but I didn't.
Nah.
So one is my favorite Hitchcock movie, which is not a popular one. And
What is it?
Strangers on a Train.
Oh, what?
Stop.
Yes, Crisscross. Yes.
Yep.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Crisscross for life. Yes.
What else you got?
I took a Hitchcock class in college, and I just loved everything about it. And I really think that the villain is up there in like the top 10 charismatic villains. Where you kind of like them, like very, Alex in Clockwork Orange, Heath Ledger in Dark Knight, Christian Bale, American Psycho. He's got that likability quality, and he's so captivating to watch. And I think they could remake that now. I know that there's a discussion about what should you remake Hitchcock. If it's going to introduce new people to new stuff, because I can't live like a dinosaur and think that like young people are going to always see Hitchcock from, however 70 years ago or whatever, so that one I think could easily be made and well done. I know they did that parody movie, which I didn't see. Don't Throw Mama Off the Train. I never saw that.
I was in a live stream last night on Megamite's channel, and I mentioned it then. I was like, Hitchcock loved trains.
Yeah.
So many movies, that Lady Vanishes, Shadow of a Doubt, all have something to do with trains. I love it.
Shadow of a Doubt is his favorite, and he
Oh
actually
my God.
showed me that, and I loved that one too. Oh, here we are.
I still have all my
Oh,
movies here from
I'm
last
so
night.
jealous. A
Yeah.
This
4K.
was in my top 5.
Damn.
This is number 3 of my top 5. Vertigo and Psycho being right above that, but
Oh, you
this
got
is a
good
family
taste.
favorite of ours.
Oh,
So
so
that's
good.
dope. That's
Yes.
dope. What else you got?
So this one actually I did reference earlier, and that is Almost Famous. I have watched
Mhm.
that movie a lot. I remember I was in, when did that come out? Oh, 01? No.
2000.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. So I was on that,
2000.
early adolescence, teen years, and my mom rented it, and she like loved it. She's like, I have to show you this movie,
Mhm.
and we watched it together, and it's just kind of been in my soul forever. And I think that what a role for Kate Hudson, and like breakout role. I do think it's Cameron Crowe's masterpiece, and I love the band. I love Fever Dog, like scratching at the back door, like that's so good.
Yes.
And yeah, I love it. So
Do you watch the theatrical or the bootleg cut or both?
oh, well, I will tell you, this is so funny you brought this up because we have, there were 2 special editions, and
Mhm.
I don't, we have
We
one
have some weird cut.
that is really not good. Like it changed the whole pace of the film, and it doesn't feel
Bootleg cut.
special. Is it?
Right.
That's it?
That's the
Okay.
bootleg cut.
We got it in Chinatown.
Oh
Don't
my
I?
god.
Say less. Say less. I know what you mean.
No, it's just I don't know what the
No
cut's
jewelry, no
bad.
movies in Chinatown.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
they
yeah.
they kind of changed things by including that for sure.
Yeah, we got to get a modern.
The anniversary
cut.
one is the one I think that came out afterwards, and we were like,
Mhm.
oh, we should have waited for that one. But
Yeah, there's so many different versions now that you could get on physical media.
True, true.
How many is that for you? 4?
that was actually only 2. Sorry,
Oh, well, carry on.
I'm so sorry.
We're having so much fun.
Yes. The next one is Inglorious Bastards. Tarantino. Yeah.
Good one.
I love that movie. I love the fact that when you're in the mindset of one of the characters that doesn't speak the same language as someone else in the room, there are no subtitles. I
Mhm.
love the cinematography. It kind of felt to me like his epic. I love it so much. I love Christoph Waltz. I love
Best part.
the whole like F you to history, and just like if we could just shoot Hitler up like that, that's great. Yeah, so I love so much about it. I think
Yeah.
it's a beautiful film too. The cinematography in that one is stunning, and I love the whole like let's learn about how film is flammable scene with Samuel L. Jackson narrating. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so love that movie.
I got to throw this up because Holland mentioned it. Well, first, Tony says Inglorious Bastards is so good. And then Holland follows with Marguerite.
Oh, yes. Yes, there's such great humor in that.
Mhm.
So much.
And now
I
I'll
love
never,
that.
what is it? It's this is the tell all with the 3
Yeah.
and the 3. Yeah.
American
good.
3. Yeah.
So good.
What else?
Oh yeah, sorry. I forgot. Inception, which I know some people aren't the biggest fans of. I love Inception. I was totally blown away in theaters. Definitely took multiple people to see that. I think the suspension of disbelief is fine. I think that a lot of sci-fi is like that. And I love how it ended. I went on rabbit holes with different possibilities of the meaning of that movie.
Yeah.
Is he in a dream? Is he in reality? I have my own opinion on that for sure. I loved it. I think that at the time specifically, people had not seen visuals like that in a movie, and the whole Joseph Gordon-Levitt scene down the hallway. I love that movie. So
Yeah. What I like is showing it to people who've never seen it before because it's an instant conversation starter. You turn off the movie right at the end, and you got to talk about it.
Mhm.
If you've never seen it before, that's an instant conversation starter right there
Yes.
for sure.
Mm-hmm. And then the last movie is I'm not saying it's an amazing film. I just have a really personal connection to it. and it is the film adaptation of Rent the musical. Yeah, I was a senior in high school, and I have an autoimmune disease. And when I was in high school for my senior year, I had to have surgery, which was fine, but I missed a couple months of school, and I really wanted to go on the senior trip. And then the doctors, I guess, did something wrong during the surgery, and so that prolonged my recovery. So I wasn't able to go on the senior trip. And my mom then, to kind of make things better, she took me to New York to see Rent on Broadway. And during that time, I was home alone a lot, or, and I just the movie had just come out as well. And I just watched it all the time. I fell in love with Rosario Dawson in that film, among other things. But yeah, so I have a really, I don't think it's a bad adaptation of the musical. I don't think it's perfect. I think a lot of what Chris Columbus did, he really knows how to work a camera for musicals. Like, he really does. Heightens the emotions. Unlike Tom Hopper, which is, I have some issues with the way he directs musicals. But besides that, yeah, so that would be my last one.
Awesome. Quick check-in with the chat before we carry on. Let's see where I left. So just talking first of all about your room. Gus likes your room, so
Thank
clean
you.
and organized. So
Little
fresh
does
and
Gus
so
know,
clean.
little does he know it's my entire apartment, actually. So
The whole
the
back
studio
door,
apartment, yeah, over there is the kitchen, but it is our studio apartment.
Awesome. I love American Beauty, DVD cover, autograph. Michael has a lot of autographs, so that's
Oh,
what he's
so
talking about.
cool.
Oh, wow.
Cody says, I'm glad I'm not the only one excited for the new Little Mermaid. You are not alone, despite what all the haters been saying since the trailer dropped. Love Strangers on a Train, bought the Blu-ray the day it came out. Shout out to Throw Mama from the Train.
Funny.
Strangers on the Train, second favorite Hitchcock. Okay. Throw Mama from the Train, really good in my opinion, worth to watch. It's fun. It's fun.
Okay, yeah.
It's a good one.
Shut your brain off.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Strangers on a Train, great. Also took a Hitchcock class in college, and likes Throw Mama from the Train a little more. Interesting.
Ooh. That's a hot take.
Yeah, he's full of them. That's why Friday's going to be something fun.
Yeah.
Also recommend Almost Famous. There you go. Love Inception.
Nice.
We got Mega Mike the Movie Man talking about our stream last night. Favorite superhero movie of the past 2 years. Think about that and come back to it. You could answer it at the end. Love Rent. Saw that with my wife. Theater filled with performances. Sang along. It was amazing. Yeah, I saw it once. That's another thing I miss about New York. I was a Broadway junkie, so we used to go to musicals all the time. My mom got me started. She took me to see Mama, I Want to Sing and Dreamgirls when I was really young. Like, I'm talking single digits. And then from there, it was like she would take half days on Wednesdays and we'd hit a matinee. So I was like the kid at the 2:00 showing. So it was awesome.
Goodness. I love that.
Yeah, I've seen so many things. Stephanie Mills, she was one of my play friends, and she would have to leave us and she'd say, I gotta go into the city, because we were in Brooklyn. She had to go into the city because she was going to practice for The Wiz. She was Dorothy in The Wiz.
Oh my goodness.
And she was like my little play friend in Brooklyn
cool.
when she was at her grandmother's house. So that's
Well,
pretty sick.
KB, they are bringing that back to Broadway, by the way.
I heard.
Yep.
That should be fun. So Max, you got 5 films to rattle off for us?
Yeah, sure. Kind of off the top of my head, but I realized they're really popular films. Like Batman, 1989, hugely influential, and Ninja Turtles, 1990. I feel like I like how practical and real they feel. Yeah. And our big one is Big Lebowski.
Okay.
I've been to a couple of Lebowski fests, and I've seen that movie an embarrassingly number of times. There's a while I was watching it like every other day, so it's like 250 plus times.
Wow.
And I like this. I really enjoy this really obscure film, but it's with Jeff Daniels and Sigourney Weaver, and it's called Imaginary Heroes. It's like a popular DVD at the time in the 2000s.
I remember.
and
that.
Emile Hirsch is in it with Michelle Williams.
Mhm.
And it's like about, death and suicide and family. And it's, sometimes hard to watch, but man, I used to make everybody I know watch it.
That was like one of the first films when she was coming off of Dawson's Creek, right?
Really? I didn't have WB growing up. Like,
Yeah, man. She did
Michelle
Dawson's
Williams was
Creek
on-
for a minute,
Yes.
and then I think that was
Oh.
like one of the first movies she did after they
Yeah, it was
wrapped
like
up
03.
production. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's
The
a
more
good
you know, right?
selection, right?
All right, Tracy. Number 3, everybody's favorite question.
I don't know.
Name a classic movie. Name a classic movie that everybody loves, but you can't stand.
Okay, so one is redeemable because of the concert sequence, but I really didn't care for Bohemian Rhapsody. I loved the concert shots and all of that, but I feel like they did a very shallow version of what the band was. But I had that as a backup because the one that I really don't like, that I feel like I'm gonna get like, everyone's gonna unsubscribe from my channel when they hear this.
Everybody says the same thing.
And it's The Princess Bride, and I know it's because I saw it way too late. Like, I saw it for the first time like 8 years ago, and then I gave it another shot, and it was just really hard for me to get through. And I really do like Monty Python, and actually Vin from Hard Copy Blues, and I had this conversation where everyone tells him like it's the same. If you like Monty Python, you'll like Princess Bride, and he loves Princess Bride but doesn't like Monty Python. So I had the opposite reaction.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You're not alone.
No.
You're not alone. I mean, as time goes on, it's becoming a very divisive film. So I see. Of course, there's nostalgia. I'm in that nostalgia camp. I turn my kids on to it. But there are certain people, and with Bohemian Rhapsody, I'm hearing more people not liking it than liking it. So I was like, oh, maybe I went into it from like a technical standpoint, like the Live Aid thing I saw like in Dolby Atmos, so it was all around me, like the echoes of the crowd was above me kind of thing. So especially because that's like how they ended the movie.
It was the best part.
It was like a comedian giving his best jokes at the end of his set. So then you're like, oh man, that was great. And everybody's like, actually, it sucked. I was like, but Live Aid. He's like, but everything before that was terrible. I was like, what? I just remember Live Aid. So,
The Live Aid portion was phenomenal and amazing. And if that would have been the whole film, I would have been like 5 stars,
Right.
all that.
He's kidding. He's kidding.
I know.
He's kidding.
Love that.
He's not that mean of a person.
You're done.
Okay, now this is what I'm hearing a lot of. Johnny says it here. I felt Rocket Man was better than Bohemian Rhapsody because they were so close in release times. A lot of people try to make that comparison, and because musical biopics so close together, yeah, Rocket Man is the better of the two. I will agree there.
I feel like Elton John also just was kind of like, here's my like raw story. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. And I remember when Bohemian Rhapsody started initially in production, it was supposed to be Sacha Baron Cohen playing him. And the band had said they wanted the Freddie Mercury death to be like in the middle of the movie, and then the rest of the movie be about the rest of the band. And it's kind of like, well, that's not what people.
That's not a triumphant story.
No. So.
No, don't end on a bummer.
Yeah.
People won't like it. But yeah, for the longest time, I remember when Sacha Baron was going to be in it, and then they switched, and I was like, who?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are switching over to Susan. If you're one of those, thank you for joining us.
Yes.
But let's flip that question and ask you number 4. Name a critically hated movie that you love.
So the first, I was going to say Man of Steel, and then I went on to Rotten Tomatoes, and I saw that even though the Rotten Tomatoes score is low, that the audience critic score is high. I defend that movie a lot, and I defended it a lot when it first came out. But I will go with a movie that has a pretty bad Rotten Tomatoes score, and that is Josie and the Pussycats.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
The message behind it is there's subliminal messaging in the music. The movie is really self-aware. If you ever read an Archie comic or any of those, there's so many like homages to it.
Mm-hmm.
A big Rosario Dawson fan. She's fantastic. Tara Reid was in her prime at the time, and she was
Yeah.
perfect for that role.
Before she
And
fell off. Yeah.
yeah, and then and Rachel Lee Cook literally was the perfect Josie. They nailed it. And
She
then the
was.
music, yeah, and then the music is all done by Cheap Trick, which was big in the 80s, early 90s. Her voice is actually the Josie voice for all of the concerts and stuff. Parker Posey's in it. Alan Cumming is in it. I think it's a really, really fun film, and I've watched it a billion times. I showed him recently. He loved it.
Didn't know it was satire or
Yeah.
parody at all.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. A lot
Really?
of people took it straight up face value, but it's not meant to be. It's supposed to be campy and, like you said, a parody and so forth.
Right.
And when you do that and you realize that and you go back and you watch it, it's appreciated in a whole different
Then it
level.
clicks.
Glad you picked up on that. That's a good one.
And it is a cool time capsule for the early 2000s, like with Virgin Mega stores and things like that, when everyone was buying
All gone.
CDs.
Advertising.
You know,
Tower Records.
yeah, yep.
Yeah.
So,
Especially in the city. It's all gone now. So
I know.
Virgin.
let's check in with the chat before we finish up the questions here. So some standouts. We got Benicio.
Yay!
What's going on, my man? Catch a replay, see what you missed. It was a good one. Laren says he watches The Big Lebowski every year on Christmas Eve. Good timing. Good timing.
Good tradition.
Maxfield knows what's up. 89 Batman and
Realist.
TMNT. Yes, sir. KB, my most memorable New York off-Broadway experience is Mama, I Want to Sing, Serafina, and Your Arms Too Short to Box with God. Saw them all, man. When we couldn't afford Broadway, it was the off-Broadway specials for us. Yes, sir.
Wow.
Disappointed with Bohemian Rhapsody also. See, you're not alone. Malik's performance is masterful as Mercury, but the story wasn't as good. And that's the thing. A bad screenplay could just ruin a good performance, unfortunately. Let's see. Okay, here's one. Favorite horror film? Both of us. Ladies first, of course. Your favorite non-comedy movie?
Yeah.
That's right.
I will say my favorite, and again, I'm not the horror expert, but Max actually showed this to me, and I think it is the ultimate Halloween, not as the Halloween franchise, but like the Halloween holiday movie, and it's Trick or Treat.
Yeah, Sam.
I loved it so much.
Love Sam.
They're doing a sequel. Get your head out.
Oh yeah, what's up?
I'd never seen it before. You know, being a movie collector, you see people showing it off, the Shout Factory, whatever. And I heard that they were gonna. Yes, sir. I see you. I see you. So I'd never seen it, and then I heard that they were going to release it in theaters for the first time. It had never been on a theatrical screen. So I went and caught it on the last day it was in theaters, and I just loved it. And I was like, this is awesome. I love anthology movies to begin with, but I love the way the story came together and just like full circle. That was awesome.
Yeah, Brian Cox.
Yes. Yeah. If anyone watches Succession, Brian Cox is in the third act. So
That's right. Mine is Nightmare on Elm Street. It's my favorite franchise, even though I know it's not the most solid one or the most consistent one, but I'm a Fred head. So yeah. I just love it. And I love the concept. You know, we all need to sleep. Like once I was on a stream with the doubles and Mika and Karen, they said it. They like, we all need to sleep. And if somebody could attack you in a place where you have to be every night, beautiful. And it's based on a semi-true story.
Oh,
so nice. Boom, 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 boom. All right. I think, that was it. Just people giving comments back and forth. So I want to thank both of you, Tracy especially, for joining me tonight in the conversation. So as we land this plane, I want to ask you number 5. who would you like to see me have a conversation with on this channel?
Well, I will tell you, I think it was yesterday, Cody was like, I just saw you're going to be on KB's. I was going to recommend you. And I was like, well, I was going to recommend you, but you're also going to be on the channel. So we're both not, we canceled each other out there. I'm pretty positive you didn't have this person on. So if you did, I have a backup because I thought I double checked, but 20th and 21st century films, the Criterion guy.
20th and 21st movies?
Yes, yes. I love him, and I didn't know if you had him on yet.
He was one of the, let me go back to
Oh, you
see
did
both
have
of
him.
us. Yes, he was one of the first ones that I had on, but I'm going to ask him to come back on because I did not have the 5 takes at the time.
Okay.
So
Nice.
last week when I had Jordo on, he recommended that I do it again, but have him go through the 5 takes. So it might be a shorter one, but
Cool.
James and I, we could always just chat. I'm actually going to be on his Criterion release live stream probably in about 10, 11 days or so. I think it's next Thursday when they
Awesome.
release on July, because July is like my most popular month when it comes to Criterion releases. So he asked me to be on. So I'll be on his channel. But I would love to have him come back and just do a 5 takes with me because dude is amazing.
He's
I love
amazing.
James.
Yeah.
He is so knowledgeable, such a gentleman, so professional. I love that. I love that. He brings it.
Yeah.
Who's your backup?
Luke Ponto. He's a machine with watching things.
Yeah.
Love it.
Like, when we did our stream last night, we're like, oh, we watched 15 movies this month. That was like a big deal for us because I work at night and blah blah blah. But that
Watched
kid,
15 last night.
he'll watch 15 in a day, I feel like. So
Yeah.
He's
He's the man.
and he's really passionate, and like you said, it's the younger generation, and he's been really supportive too, and he's had me on twice, and very nice
That's
kid.
awesome.
So
Yeah. I would love to have him on in the near future. So
Yeah.
we'll definitely try to make that happen. But in the meanwhile, I want to thank you again
Oh,
for coming on. It was a pleasure having you both on. Keep doing what you're doing because it's appreciated by the community. You're welcomed. You're both welcomed into the community. And I just love to see you put out content, whether it's on Instagram or when you post YouTube stuff like what you did last night. All of it. Just keep bringing it.
Definitely.
Consistency is key, but don't feel like you're forced to do something or I didn't put out a video this week. Don't get into that because as quickly as you came in, you'll burn out. That's my
Yeah.
advice for you. But when you have content, share it with us, and we're better for it, both of you. So thank you. And I'd also like to thank the chat. A lot of us still here. Please hit the like button before you go. Yes, as Del says here, both James and Luke are both great picks. Thank you, Cody. Yeah, and like I said, let's see, today is Wednesday. I'm losing track of things. Tomorrow, I'm not going to be on because I'm going to the movies. I do go to the movie theater. Friday, I will be on Command and Nerds podcast at 1:30 Eastern. And then Cody and I will be on the late night here having a conversation. So hopefully you can join us. Thank you, Laren. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Maxfield. Thank you, Tracy.
Man,
And thank you, everyone else. As I always